So welcome to the first experiment of electrical machine lab. Here we are going to understand the theory behind the experiment. The videos have already been uploaded. You can see the videos. So experiment number 1 is about the no load and load test on a DC shunt generator. So let us see the objectives what you have to perform. Now since the experiment has to be done on shunt generator, the meaning is that the if you have the machine which is this is the armature, then the field winding will be the parallel with the armature. So if the field winding is in parallel with the armature, so this is your armature and this is your field. So field winding in parallel with armature, then it is known as the shunt machine. So if you have any machine whose armature is in series with the field winding, so if you take the field winding in series, then it is known as the series generator. So this is known as series generator. So the experiment will be done on the shunt generator, and first we'll perform the no load test. No load test means we are not connecting any load to it, and in open circuit condition we are going to do all this measurement. So what are the objectives for the no load test? First objective is that you will obtain the magnetization characteristic at a rated speed. Okay, so what is the magnetization characteristic at rated speed? And then predetermine the open circuit characteristic at 1000 rpm. So the speed fixed is 1000 rpm. Determine the critical field resistance at a rated speed. So at rated speed, what is the critical field resistance and critical speed of the given DC generator? So here you have to find the resistance, here you have to find the speed under the critical condition at the rated speed and for the given DC shunt generator. So the nameplate details, if we see it, then the nameplate details of we will be using one DC shunt motor and one generator. So one motor we will be using and one generator we will be using. Both are shunt machine and DC machine. So let us see the nameplate of a DC motor. So the DC motor that we are using is of rating 3.5 kilowatt, 220 volt, 18.6 ampere, and 1500 rpm is the rated speed of the machine, and an excitation current of 0.95 ampere is required for the machine. It is a shunt machine. DC generator, again the rating is same 3.5 kilowatt, voltage is also same 220 volt. Here the current is different, which is 16 ampere. Here the maximum current was 18.6 ampere for the motor. For the generator the maximum current is 16 ampere. The speed remains the same because both are mechanically coupled with each other. Okay, so the excitation current is 0.9 ampere and it is a shunt machine. The resistance of the armature is 0.6 ohms and the field resistance is 186.7 ohms for the DC motor, and generator the armature resistance is 1.1 ohm and the shunt field resistance is 183 ohms. Now for the DC we will be using thyristor controlled DC drive 0 to 50 volt DC for a 5 horsepower DC motor. So we are producing the DC using a thyristor. So now let us look the apparatus. So we are using voltmeter, ammeter, rheostat, resistive load and tachometer. So voltmeter, everything will be digital, so we are going to use the digital instrument. Okay, and the voltmeter range is 300 volt, ammeter 20 ampere, resistive this tachometer of 2000 rpm, and rheostat for changing the variable resistance we have 360 ohms, 1.6 ampere, and the resistive load is of 230 volt by 20 or 20 ampere. So these are the apparatus that will be required to conduct this experiment. So let us see the circuit diagram for the no load test. So first we'll perform the no load test and then we'll perform the load test. Now to understand the circuit diagram, let us see. So this side, on the left hand side and the right hand side, you see from the left hand side you have the motor and on the right hand side you have generator. Both are mechanically coupled to each other. Now the motor, you see the input supply, if you stick, it is a 415 volt 50 hertz 3 phase AC supply, and using a thyristor controlled DC drive your AC supply will be converted to DC. So the output from here will come to DC supply. Okay, now in the motor you have to measure the current using an ammeter, voltage using a voltmeter, and this rheostat is there to vary the supply. This rheostat is there to vary the field excitation. Now, if the generated voltage will be measured using a voltmeter connected to the generating end, and ammeter will measure the current, and you have the resistance of the field which can be varied with the help of this rheostat. Now there is no load here, so it is a no load test on DC shunt generator. So basically, if you see the introduction of a DC shunt generator, the EMF equation is given by Z into phi and P divided by 60, where Z is the number of armature conductors, P is the number of poles, N is the armature speed in RPM, F is the flux per pole, A is the number of parallel paths. Now this depending upon whether it is a lap winding or a wave winding connected machine. So if it is a lap winding, then the number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. If it is a wave connected machine, then it is equal to 2. Now in this case, if you see Z, P and A are basically constant for any given machine, so the induced EMF of the generator can be written as K times flux into speed. So by varying the flux or by varying the speed, you can vary the generated voltage. So that we are going to see. Now for a given DC generator, if you write the voltage equation, so the terminal voltage V is equal to EA minus IA RA, where RA is the armature resistance and this is the armature resistance drop. Now the no load armature current is very negligible. So basically the voltage V is equal to V naught is equal to K times phi into N. So we can write the speed which is kept constant at the rated value, because your experiment has to be done at the rated value. So you can neglect the speed from here. So only variable quantity is the flux. So the voltage is proportional to flux. Now this flux which is per pole is a function of the field current. Now flux can be varied if you vary the field current. So on vary the field current, your flux will be varied. So the no load voltage being proportional to flux represent the magnetization characteristic, as V naught is the no load voltage. So the voltage that is produced is depending upon flux, hence it is known as the magnetization characteristic, and flux is depending on the field current. So the no load test on a DC generator will require some step to be followed, which is being given in the manual. You can go through the manual. So here it is OCC curve we have to draw. OCC means open circuit characteristic, or it is the magnetization characteristic, or otherwise no load characteristic. So you can give by any name, whether it is an open circuit characteristic, magnetization characteristic, or no load characteristic. And it is a curve that is showing the relationship between the EMF generated at no load, because this is open circuit, so no load is connected to it, and whatever the voltage it is generated with respect to the field current. Since the machine is a shunt machine, so it is basically the shunt field which is responsible for production of the flux. So open circuit characteristic we will be obtaining, other name is magnetization characteristic or no load characteristic, and it is under the no load condition. So the curve which is obtained between the generated voltage and the field current. Now we have to understand that even the field current is zero, there will be some residual magnetism present in the poles. So we will see from the graph that even the field current is zero, some residual magnetism is there, and there is a small voltage generated even at zero field current, which is called the residual voltage. So even you do not have the field current is zero, you have some amount of residual magnetism that is responsible for production of residual voltage. So if the field current is increased, the voltage will also increase, and the curve traced is almost a straight line. So on increasing the field current, you will increase the voltage in a straight line, and after that a certain amount of time you will see that the field has begun to saturate. Okay, then you will begin to field is saturated. So you have to draw the circuit diagram. You have to draw the circuit diagram of that, connect the circuit diagram and open the open circuit characteristic you have to obtain. So if you vary the field current, flux will change and the induced EMF will also change, and the voltage you have to measure with the help of a voltmeter. So no load is connected to the machine because there is no load, and characteristic are obtained, so it is called no load characteristic, and basically the graph between the no load voltage and the field current. Field current is proportional to flux and the induced EMF increases. So this is the setup that we are going to use in the lab. So here we have all the panels. Okay. So this experiment will be used to conduct the no load and load test on a DC shunt generator. We have all digital instruments here which is used to measure the voltage, current or the speed. And you can see that this side we have the motor and this side we have the generator. So both are mechanically coupled to each other. Hence it will rotate at the same speed. So here in the circuit, this part you have for the motor and this part you have for the generator. So you can note down the voltage current by proper connection using these digital instruments, and this is the load which will be used for the load test. So you have different regulator to control the load. So once you change the regulator, obviously the load put on the generator will increase. So this experiment will be used, setup will be used for both no load test and load test. Some precautions you have to take care. What? The motor field rheostat must be kept in minimum resistance position. Potential divider must be kept in the minimum potential position and starter arm must be in the off position. So you can see here you have the starter arm. Okay, so it should be kept in the minimum position. Okay, so do the connection whatever is given in the manual. You have to connect the circuit as given in the manual for both the motor end as well as the generator end. So connect the circuit in this particular manner, and then on connecting follow the procedure that is given in the manual. What is the procedure you have? That is the connect the circuit and keep the motor field rheostat at the minimum position first, and measure the change the armature knob and generator field rheostat is the minimum position. Switch on the MCB and push turn on. So if you see here in the circuit, so here you have the main supply, three-phase supply, and then if you turn on these buttons, your all this panel will be turned on, and this knob slowly if you revolve, then obviously the DC voltage will change. So you have to just follow whatever the procedure is given in the manual to perform the experiment, and then you have to draw the write the observation table. So the speed is at 1500 rpm. So this is the rated speed of the machine. You have to measure the field current and you have to measure the no load voltage, because it is the no load test, in the forward direction as well as in the reverse direction of the machine. Okay, so if you, what is the model graph that you will get? So see here you have the field winding which is connected in parallel with the armature of the machine. So this is known as shunt machine, right? Now here you will be given the shunt field resistance. So if you see on the x-axis you have the field current ISH, because the field is produced by this field winding. So you say it is IF or ISH, it means the same, the shunt field winding or the field current. On the y-axis you have the generated EMF, and as I said that some amount of residual magnetism will be there. So there the A point will not start from the origin. There will be something, this point is known as the residual magnetism. So some amount of residual magnetism will be there, and the open circuit characteristic will be like this. So it will increase in the linear part and then it will slowly saturate, and this line is basically the shunt field resistance line. So this line is basically shunt field resistance line. Now we have to obtain the critical field resistance and critical speed. So you have to see what is the definition of the critical field resistance and what is critical field speed. So if you see this OCC characteristic at the point A, if you see, this is the maximum generated voltage which is possible with the help of a machine under the OCC curve at a particular speed. So this OCC curve is there at a particular speed. Suppose this speed is the rated speed, then you have to draw a tangent line here in the OCC characteristic. So draw a tangent. So this tangent will be drawn to the OCC characteristic. So if you draw a tangent, then the resistance, which is the critical field resistance, is basically OB, that is the voltage what is produced here, that is the OB, this part of the voltage OB divided by OC, that what is the field current you have, this is OC. So this is the critical field resistance. Now you can see that the shunt field resistance line is this. So here also it is the lower value of the shunt field resistance. So if you increase the shunt field resistance, then the slope will increase, and if it is not intersecting, means the open circuit characteristic, if it is like this, shunt field resistance is like this, so it is intersecting. If it is not intersecting, then no voltage will be building up in the machine. So here in this part of the curve you can see that it is not intersecting the open circuit characteristic, so no voltage will be built up. Now there is a term known as critical speed. So what is the critical speed? So critical speed you have to obtain. Now critical speed, like see, this is your open circuit characteristic at a particular speed. We will be taking the rated speed in our case. So here choose a field current R. So this field current, if you elongate, then it intersect the line of RSH. This line is basically the resistance of the field. It intersect, and then it intersect the tangent of the curve. So the critical speed is equal to N1, that is the speed with which the open circuit characteristic is drawn. In our case, we are taking the rated speed into RT by RS. RT means the point of the field, and T is the point where it is cutting the this shunt line of the resistance to the other point which is cutting at the tangential of the line. So this way you can obtain the critical speed of the machine. So here all these definitions are given, what is critical resistance and what is critical speed. So critical resistance, if you see, it is the value of the resistance in the field circuit at which generator will just excite or voltage will build up. So this is the minimum amount of the resistance which is necessary to build up the voltage. Okay, so that you can obtain from the OCC curve or the open circuit curve by drawing the tangential of the linear part of the curve. Critical speed is that speed where the voltage will be built up and it is at the critical resistance. So these two things you have to obtain from the OCC curve, and you have to write the result, that what is the critical field resistance and critical speed for a DC shunt generator. And you will be able to answer these questions after completing this experiment. What is the need for starter in DC motor? How does a 3-point starter function? Why is rheostat in motor kept at the minimum position at starting? Why is rheostat in generator kept at the maximum position at starting? What is residual voltage and how is it measured? What are the conditions necessary for voltage build-up in DC shunt generator? And explain the shape of the OCC curve. So after performing this experiment, you will be supposed to answer these particular questions, and then we will perform the load test on the machine. So here the only difference is that in the generator end you will be connecting the load. So on the generator end you will be connecting the load, otherwise the motor end, if you see the connection, it will remain the same. So only in the generator end the things will be different because you are connecting a load. So we will obtain the load test. So in the load test, if you see, there are two characteristics. One is internal characteristic and another is external characteristic that you have to obtain for after performing this experiment. So again, on the on the x-axis you will be having the load current or field current, and on the y-axis you will be having the generated voltage or the terminal voltage. Now here you have the motor, right? These are the brushes connected with the motor. So here you have the field winding, since it is a shunt machine. So whatever the voltage is generated in the armature, that is known as generated voltage. So and what is the voltage at the terminal, that is known as the load voltage. So if a graph is drawn, internal means this one, EG. So if the graph is drawn between internal voltage and the versus the current of the armature, then it is known as internal characteristic. Now external means from this end. So if a graph is drawn between the load voltage versus the load current, then it is known as the external characteristic. So you can see that this is the no load voltage. So internal characteristic will drop a little bit, external characteristic will drop a more. Okay, so just like you connecting the load, you have to measure all this external characteristic and internal characteristic, and through the KVL equation, this KVL equation will be there for the shunt machine. EG is equal to VL plus IRA, and the KCL equation will be armature current is equal to IL plus IF. So this is your Kirchhoff's voltage law and this is your Kirchhoff's current law. for the DC shunt machine. Now perform the machine with this precaution that motor field rheostat must be kept in the minimum resistance position, potential divider must be kept in the minimum potential position, and starter arm must be in the off position. So here you have the load that you have to connect with this setup. Okay, the motor part will remain the same, whereas the generator part you have to do some connection with the load. So perform the connection and follow the procedure that is given in your manual to perform the experiment. So whatever the manual, the procedure is given, perform like that, and then in the observation table you have to do the measurement at a rated speed of 1500 rpm. So here your speed has to be 1500 rpm. Measure the load voltage, load current, and field current, and then these you have to calculate. Armature current is equal to load current plus field current, and the generated voltage is equal to load voltage plus the drop across the resistance. So this will come from the measurement and this will come from the calculation. So you have to calculate that, and on calculation you have to draw the graph in the graph paper for the internal characteristic, obtain the internal characteristic, external characteristic graph you have to obtain, and then you can obtain the load characteristic of the machine, and you will be supposed to answer these particular questions at the end of the experiment. Why does the terminal voltage of a generator decrease with increase in load? How are the meter ratings selected for the experiment? What are the different losses in a DC generator? What is the condition for maximum efficiency in DC machine? What is armature reaction and how does it affect the performance of the machine? So little bit of theory and little bit of practical will boost up your knowledge in machine. So you will be doing this experiment so that you understand what is the no load and load characteristic on any particular DC shunt machine. Thank you, and perform the experiment. The video is already been uploaded. You see the connection diagram, and here the theory has been described a little bit. Okay, thank you.